What is, and this is a question directed for both of you, what do you think is the most positive thing that could be said about the Finches as a family? Because a lot of the press and stuff has kind of accentuated their eccentricities, but what's the most positive thing about them as a family?
Wow. I haven't even thought about the
Wow. I stumped the band.
Oh, I think the positive aspect is that they're all in their own way. Even Finch is trying to do good, and I think that's the horror.
Yeah.
That they're all trying to help each other, but they're doing it in the most peculiar and kind of inhumane way.
Yeah.
But in their minds and their hearts, they all need love, respect, as a family does.
Yeah.
But they're not sort of, that cohesion doesn't take place in this family. But I think the horror and why you can't vilify them is that they're doing it for the good. Like, this man really believes in his kind of medical psychosis and helping people, and but he gets it so badly wrong, and I think that's the tragedy of the piece. But it's not because they want to be villains, it's because they want to do good.
Now, what do you think each of, that Neil and Natalie see in Augustine? Is it basically like that one true friend that they've been waiting for, that sort of voice of sanity in an otherwise kind of outrageous environment? Or?
I think so, yeah. I mean, my favorite thing about my character was the relationship with Augustine, you know. I just thought it was such a great friendship, and that they bond, because they are both looking for the same thing, and they both want approval from, you know, she wants approval from her father, and he wants approval from his mother so bad, and they're just longing for just kind of a normal parent or somebody to take care of them and just, you know, tell them that it's going to be okay, you know, something like that. And then they kind of just become soulmates in that way, and they become those people for each other that, you know, are there. And, you know, through all the craziness, kind of, if they're together, they can be sane. Like,
right. And for Neil,
I think for Neil, he sees this new arrival into the household as something precious and innocent, and something that has to be protected at all costs. And I think that Neil, in his background, probably lost that innocence very early, was probably abused, is suffering from great kind of illnesses, and although he's trying to be helped, he's being helped by the wrong person, and I think he sees this young boy as someone to be protected. But in protecting him, Neil, I think, takes away his innocence. So it's a curious relationship.
well, that's what struck me, though, about Neil, is that of all the characters in there, and it seems like oftentimes an inescapable situation, it's perhaps worse for him because so much of it is in his mind, and he can't escape from those problems.
I think there's a beautiful moment where I think Neil takes the responsibility to get out of the household because of the voices he's hearing. I think he really does feel he could murder everyone in that house. And he gets to a point where he has to kind of sacrifice the relationship and himself and run away, because I think the demons are getting really heavy for him.
Well, one thing that struck me about the film, too, is that it's... Well, let me ask you, how do you think Hollywood has done so far its track record in portraying mental illness? Because usually they go just for the histrionics. In this movie, I saw a lot of the things where it's just in the eyes, which to anybody who's ever had to deal with anybody with an issue, that's really what you catch on to, is there's just that glint, you know?
Well, I certainly felt there's a huge responsibility, even within the sort of the quirkier aspects of the film and the kind of the fun and the sort of more subversive areas of the film, that we are still talking about serious illnesses, and one has a responsibility to at least sort of step up to the plate, and even within the genre of the piece, I think be responsible to the people who are suffering those kind of conditions.
And did you... any of you ever hear from the characters that you portray? I know that Ryan has said, I believe in an interview, that you think Bookman's going to surface when the movie comes out. Why do you think?
I haven't thought he might be there tomorrow night.
Yeah, he's going to
the premiere. I just had a feeling. I don't know. I felt like when Bookman arrived for me, he was one of the few characters in the film where suddenly he was there, and very palpable. And I just felt like maybe this guy's still out there.
Oh man.